All right, what's up, my beautiful people out there, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram land? It's your boy Rome. I'm at the home studio as I've been for the last couple of months, except for being out for the occasional shoot. So I want to show you guys really quick what I've been working with. This is my 2018 MacBook Pro 12.9, and this is my very old MacBook Pro 13-inch. I believe this is a 2009 if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that because I've done a number of updates on it, and this MacBook hasn't been supported for quite some time by Apple. So what I've had to do was to install more advanced operating systems on this in a means that would work for hardware that's no longer supported by Apple. But sorry to say, this MacBook has, oh man, I'm gonna miss it. Its days have ended. It can no longer be supported so far. I'm sure there is some support for it, and there will be something that someone will figure out as to how to get, the latest operating system on it. But the motherboard is failing, the hard drive is failing, it's been failing for quite some time. And as I said, this is a very, very old MacBook. A lot of the video editing that I've been doing as of late, I have been doing on this iPad. And the problem that I've run into is that when I capture images or capture video through one of the Sony cameras, and especially if I'm using the Ninja V, that means that I'm shooting in ProRes. Well, the iPad does not support ProRes. So what I have to do, part of my workflow would be to import the footage first to the iPad and then convert it to a format that import it to the MacBook and then convert it to a format, MP4, something like that, that the iPad can then recognize, and then I do the editing, at that point going forward. But as I said, this MacBook has seen its last days. Now, I have a much older Mac that I've had for a very, very long time. And for a long time, we used it for nothing but emails and things like that. And I mean, for the most part, that worked out. If you're just going to use it for something very limited task or something that is not going to be graphic intense or is going to require a lot of work, this is the future. This is where we are today. This is the MacBook Air. It has 8-core GPU and an 8-core CPU. I got the 512 gig version. Even though I edit most of the time from really, really fast SD, portable drives, I still thought it would be most in my interest to ensure that I got something that would at least have enough internal storage, like when I'm shooting tethered or something like that, that I know that I'm going to have enough room to run the applications that I need to run, as well as to store images if I'm out on location or something like that, until I then transfer them off. And this one also has 16 gig of RAM. If you've been watching any videos on this specific MacBook, it's amazing what this new M1 chip is capable of doing. I see people that are doing a lot of the things that I do on a daily basis as a part of my workflow, and they're using nothing more than the 8 gig model of this with 256 gig of RAM, and they're just flying through their day. Now, time will tell how long that will actually last, if that's something that's going to be able to maintain over the next few years. The MacBook that I just showed you guys, I've had that MacBook literally for about 10 or so years, or however long it's been. Probably a little bit more than that. And it served its purpose. So again, I'm not going to hold you guys any longer. This is the new MacBook. Let's take a look at what comes inside. And as you know, Apple goes out of their way to make the unboxing interesting, if you want to put it that way. I'm no big fan of unboxing videos. I just never have been, but it is what it is. So let's see if we can get the weight to push this box down. It's going, it's going. We're almost there. Boom, there she is. All right, This is my new MacBook Air. Now, don't get me wrong, this is the first generation of these M1 chips. I do see a lot of promise from these chips, and I think going forward, you're going to see a lot of advancements from Apple, just like with Samsung, where they're creating their own hardware, their own software, and their own CPUs and GPUs and things like that. At least, if nothing else, they're being designed specifically for their architecture. So that's going to be a win in most situations. So if you look at this, realistically, I'm going to give you some comparison. So if I close this this iPad, and I put them together, there's really not that much of a difference. Now remember, this iPad is in a case and it has a keyboard, but if you're looking at it from that perspective, just the iPad versus the MacBook Air, they're very similar. Now weight-wise, this is lighter. This is much lighter. So let's see what else you get from Apple. Obviously, you're going to get your little instructions. Most people never read these. I do want the stickers though. And I can see them in there. Boom. Rose gold stickers. How about that? If you're an Apple fan, you're an Apple fan. If you're not, you're not. But for the most part, I've been using Apple products, for all of my professional work, whether it's this very old iMac that's behind me, or the iPad that I just described, or the previous MacBook that I was using before. This comes with the Thunderbolt cable, which is basically just a USB cable. I think it's equivalent of USB 4, could be. And it comes with a 30-watt power brick. And that's everything that's in the box. That's all you get. And if you're interested in one of these, you can find some deals. But as you know, Apple does not really do a bunch of deals on their equipment. The price is just what it is. So let's get the iPad out of the way. Let's unwrap this. So we can get that out of there. There it is, guys. MacBook Air, 13-inch. Let's open it for the first time. So going forward, this is going to start the installation process. Obviously, I'm not going to have you guys sit through the installation process. Usually with most of my Macs in the past, what I would do is if I upgraded one of them, I would reinstall everything from Time Machine. This one, I'm not going to do that.
English is the main language. Press the return key.
This one, I'm not going to do that. This one, I'm going to actually install everything one at a time, and that will minimize the chance of transferring over a lot of the old code and things that I had on the previous Mac. So you guys can look forward to me doing a couple of videos demonstrating the capabilities of this MacBook. And I'll be doing some tethering, I'll do some video editing, things like that. Now, one of the things that you guys may not be aware of is that with these new Macs, you're now able to run the same apps as you do on the iPad. Now you can run them on the MacBooks. Whether it's the MacBook Air, whether it's the MacBook Pro, it doesn't really matter. And one thing that I look forward to being able to do is that now I can use Sidecar with this newer version, and I'll be able to actually extend my screen over to my iPad, which will give me an additional, 12.9-inch screen for editing, whether it's photos or video or whatever projects that I'm working on. So anyway, guys, I just want to do a really quick unboxing and outline video of what we're doing so far. So there you have it. All right, my friends, I will see you guys in the next video. Stay safe, wash your hands, and if you can, stay home.